What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Halloween Monday, October 31st, 2022. Hope you guys been alright today. Maybe you are walking them streets tonight on the candy grind. If you are, be safe out there, be warm. We got some basketball today, so I'm excited for that. 7-game slate, the wheelhouse, right? 6 to 8. I've had a couple of them the last couple days. Saturday was a really good one for me. We did some NFL yesterday. How'd you guys do yesterday? I think yesterday might have been either my most profitable or second most profitable NFL slate of the season. Words are tough for me right now. I don't know why. But hopefully we keep it going tonight with this basketball slate. Shout out to the live chat. Shout out to Quan. What up, Keith? Everyone hates Chris. Conscious. Back for the locks. Let's go, Conscious. Should be a pretty laid-back Cadillac Jack Monday afternoon. We did just get a slew of information and news, probably in the minutes before I hit the live button. So we'll react to that and get caught up. But we're just going to research game by game here, try to make a little bit of a player pool, some plays to walk away with, and maybe some if this then that reaction to the news that has already come out and news that is bound to develop as we go forward. So yeah, so let's open up the main screen here, and I guess we just get into the news. I think we'll go to underdogs. First of all, wrong screen. Secondly, the underdogs Twitter account. Key news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern. Ja Morant listed. My nose itches. As questionable. Joel Embiid questionable. Fred VanVleet questionable. Desmond Bane. Ben Simmons questionable. Terry Rozier doubtful. Brook Lopez probable. John Wall, I guess, doubtful, doesn't expect to play, and Aaron Nesmith questionable. And the news that just trickled down as I was prepping last minute, Seth Curry ruled out, Ben Simmons downgraded to questionable. So midday questionables are definitely something to keep an eye on. Other stuff that came out throughout the day that might impact today's slate. Joel Embiid remains questionable with an illness. He did not participate in shoot around, so if we had to move the needle towards yes or no, it's probably closer to no. But we have certainly been trolled by Glenn Rivers and Joel Embiid in the past when it comes to situations like this. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Bane questionable, all the stuff that we just went over. Fred VanVleet was a midday downgrade, so those midday downgrades are usually something that I would teeter-totter the needle closer to out than in, but again, it's all just guesstimates. And alright, y'all, that's what we do. What up, Crispy? What up, Arizona Drama? Crush the NFL, crush the NBA. Let's go. Yeah, it was a really good weekend for me. So hopefully you guys, we all seem to think along the same wavelength. Words are hard today. So hopefully we all had just like a really strong weekend and we keep it going. What up, Mighty Saint? Hey, yo. Mighty, you were the one that said Scott Hall is your name, right? I'm gonna remember that. All right, let's do some research. Step into the slate, 7 p.m. So first game of lock at the docket. Joel Embiid is involved, so we should have that information enough to react accordingly. We also have a little bit of information of what might happen if Joel Embiid doesn't play. We'll go pull up that rotation from the other day. I believe they moved PJ Tucker to the 5 and stretched that a little bit more. Yeah, Tucker played the 5, and then we saw D'Anthony Melton start. Tobias Harris stretch out as well. So you would assume that that would be a strategy that they run back, particularly since it was a successful one. But I suppose there is a little bit of an opportunity, potentially, maybe, possibly, for some revenge Montrezl Harrell minutes. But in that game, Montrezl Harrell saw 17 minutes, so a little bit of an uptick from like a 12-13 minute projection. A little bit of garbage time as well, so a range of outcome, I guess you would say, is Montrezl Harrell minutes, but I would assume that they stick with the plan that involved Tucker more so at the 5, with doubling down on D'Anthony Melton minutes, and Melton was a fantasy beast in that matchup, and that's something that we've seen Melton be able to do in the past when given some opportunities. So we'll keep an eye on Joel Embiid's status. Should things look like this game right here, 3.5 point spread in favor of Philly, 217 total, it is going to be a pace down, low total type of game, but it is one of those spots where we can throw some concentrated usage on the Hardens, the Embiids of the world. Without Embiid, we know Harden's usage will super saiyan spike, but what we saw in that Raptors game was a massive Maxey game, and something to watch for on Tyrese Maxey is he's playing a butt ton of minutes when applicable. Only 29 minutes against Chicago, 4 fouls, but prior to that, we had saw 3 of 4 games where he touched 40 minutes and 20 shot attempts. Even in that 29-minute game, he got to 14 shot attempts. So I think the price for potential minutes is still low enough that we get to Maxey. Would always, or at least I would probably want to be opposite the field one way or the other. But certainly somebody that is absolutely on the court for a long time. And remember, looking at that last game, Max, I think his foul trouble came early, right? Yeah, 2 fouls in the early couple minutes, and then in the second quarter he checked in and got another foul. So my man had 3 fouls basically in his first 6 minutes of action, and then second half he comes out and basically plays almost every minute. So I do think this is a little bit of an anomaly words in the first half when it comes to such a low allotment of minutes, that if he stays out of foul trouble here again, this is probably another 40-minute spot for a guy like Tyrese Maxey. So I do think 6K is probably too cheap for that opportunity. And then I guess we'll run the on-offs with Harden just to have some numbers. So it's a smaller slate, so there's really an opportunity to dive as deep as possible. So let's pull up Miami. Dude, what is my brain doing right now? I need to go get a Monster out the fridge. Let's pull up Philly and take off Embiid with Embiid on, or Harden on, Embiid off. Guys like KCP, Walker, and Mitchell helped me in NBA big time. Mitchell was low on a lot of single entries. That's crazy, right? What up, Dez? Since the beginning of last year, Harden on the court, Embiid off the court, 32% usage rate, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. So that's the type of potential we are dealing with. And yeah, if we lose Embiid today, I would be much more willing to go back to the Harden today than the other day. I was actually really low on Harden that night against the Raptors. It was more of an ownership decision than anything because of how big the slate was. I thought Harden was going to come in way higher owned, and he really didn't. And then, of course, the Anthony Melton, the 4K on DraftKings would profile pretty well. Should Embiid play? Is the field going to be bracing him for him to be out for the next couple hours? And then when he's rolled in, not many people get their opportunity, probably. On the Wizards side, you can make the case for Monte Morris, 5-6x, his price point. Bradley Beal, I'm looking for 40 plus. I just have lowered expectations because of the pace, because of the total here. Same with Kuzma and Porzingis. They all have arguments at their price point, but I'm not really that enamored by it. And a lot of my exposure to this game would really be contingent on the Embiid status. So, yeah. Beal has some big games against the 76ers, most notably the 60-point game by 8,500. See, I don't even mind the 8,500, but we do have to remember a lot of these big Bradley Beal games came when Kyle Kuzma wasn't evolved to the player he is now. When Porzingis, he was playing with scrubs and nobodies, and then the nobody backups. You know what I mean? So I do think the floor to ceiling ratio on Bradley Beal has certainly dropped quite a bit. I think his ceiling is still 50-60 on an insane day, but I also don't know that this type of pace is going to extrapolate ceiling more often than not from a guy like Beal. But I do want to be on Beal going forward maybe not necessarily tonight because Tyrese Halliburton is the GOAT, but sooner or later, I think we're going to catch a big Beal game, and because of the unremarkable output that he's putting right now, I don't think the price is going to go too far crazy. So he's likely going to win the slate sooner or later, but I don't know that this is the matchup I want to do it. So I'm jotting down 6K Tyrese Maxey, and I'm matriculating on to the next one. Sacramento Kings up against the Charlotte Hornets. Project starting 5 for the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, taking on Dennis Smith Jr., Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, Mason Plumlee. A 231.5 total 3-point spread in favor of the Sacramento Kings. And this one should be a defense-free affair. Go check out the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and sort it from worst defensive efficiency to best. And we are looking for Sacramento. We're looking for Charlotte. Sacramento top 10 in poorest defensive rating, and Charlotte's a lot lower than I pegged them to be, closer to league average, but still something I can get behind. And then pace wise, Sacramento is top 10 in pace and Charlotte is average plus, so should be a pace up spot. And I would expect a net negative or a league below league average defensive rating overall. So I'm just gonna attack this game. I think De'Aaron Fox on both sides, very much somebody you can get behind, shoot for 40 to 50. I'll take closer to 40 on FanDuel if I can get it. On DK close to 9K, I'm looking for that 50 plus. Harrison Barnes kind of cheap on both sides. I'm getting a really solid projection on him. Keegan Murray inserted into the starting lineup. Both price points are something we can get behind. And then Sabonis, I'm a little bit lukewarm and different. On Saturday, I was interested in Sabonis. I believe the line was under 17.5 points, and this a-hole got 18. But when I went back to put a little context to it, and I think no matter what, this is an elite matchup. There was a moment in the first half where Udonis Haslem checked in the first quarter, and there was a little bit of overlap between Sabonis and Haslem, and then just a better defensive opportunity for a guy like Sabonis to not have to strictly see Adebayo for the first half, and then the second half just kind of slowed back down. The reason I'm a little bit pessimistic going forward on Sabonis is his shot volume has been really, really, really low. I mean, 9 shot attempts, super efficient in that game, 6, 10, 12, 10. He doesn't have to carry the team quite as much. De'Aaron Fox, we know, will go to the rack, and then Keegan Murray being put into the starting lineup, 13, 15, 14, double-digit shot attempts for him. So I think the Hornets is going to be a spot where I do play Sabonis, but as far as point props go, I would say if you're a note taker, watch for some opportunities going forward to maybe see if the field is still overvaluing Sabonis when it comes to real points, more so on the prop side of the world, because it's certainly somewhat different, right? Let me put a little context to that. I watched the Bear Fighter versus Bear Brown. It was a great match. Love your comment. Appreciate that. Yeah, I do commentary. I think I've done commentary for every match on the channel. I also edit it. And I'm like the director, producer. Dude, I feel like something bit me. But yeah, that match is hard to commentate because that was like 30 plus minutes, right? That's a lot of talking. That Murray plays a little. What up, Ayo? What up, Blocksme? Kuzma price dropped a little, 6,900. I was interested because he can do it all. We haven't seen a big Kuz game yet. Didn't Kuzma have a big game like the opening night? I feel like he had a fake rebound game. Yeah, it was opening night. At 13 boards, 22. So basically, I want to look at or just compare this year's Sabonis to last year's, right? And a focus on field goal attempts, 9, 6, 10, 12, 10. This music's a little loud in my ear. And then going into last season, 20, 15, 16, 23, 15. So he's being asked to do less offensively. But in return, we're also seeing him, fill up the stat sheet, 9 assists, 7 assists. So I don't think he's a bad play, and I think this is one of the most elite matchups for him. But I just wanted to make a mental note about his points going forward. He may not be that 18, 20 point a game type of guy for the Kings. I'm getting a 40-plus fantasy point projection. So far, the Hornets picking up where they left off last year as one of the most poorest matchups when it comes to front court defense and fantasy points allowed. Third most fantasy points allowed per game so far this season. So, going to check off all of the boxes for me, right? Sabonis killed me on PrizePicks against Miami too. Charlotte matchup got me iffy going back. Are they still getting killed by centers? Yeah, Sheriff, they are. What up, EB? What up, Bilal? Multi-talented, man. I do a little bit of everything, Bilal. I also have like a weird space in like the TikTok Fortnite area that I just started, and it's growing rapidly. But I had to like use a different name because I can't use Gundacker for everything. Gosh dang it. But yeah, man, if you guys got passes out there, just do it. Just do it. Whatever it is. Sabonis foul trouble, man. His minutes staggered 30s all the way down 22. Just 2 matches iffy. I think it's more than just foul trouble too for Sabonis when it comes to a lack of minutes. That Miami game certainly was foul trouble. He fouled out. But earlier this season, we saw 22 minutes against Golden State. And 31 minutes against Memphis. The scoreboard kind of got a little bit lopsided. But I don't know. I don't want to overreact to the foul side of things. But he certainly has had a couple games where he fouls out. And I guess you could look at Portland and maybe point at Nurkic. You could Miami. I guess Adebayo had a solid game. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Mason Plumlee has been killing it too. Especially early on. I feel like every time I look up in the first quarter, Mason Plumlee has like 20. 28 in that last game, 23 minutes. Do we have, is it Mason Plumlee one of those weird plays more in the first half type of guys? Let's look at this. Plumlee didn't close out in the fourth quarter against Golden State, but they could have small balled him off against Orlando. Plumlee didn't play in the fourth quarter, kind of a blowout. Garbage squad as well. Against the Knicks. Plumlee, lesser minutes in the fourth quarter than his starting cohorts against the Hawks. Kind of a lopsided game. Let me see something here. Mason Plumlee, FTP by game log, first half, last 10 games. This has really nothing to do with the DFS side. I'm just wondering if there was a lean on PrizePicks first half. Just curious, you know? You've got a free 4-pick entry. Let's go. Guys, maybe you should log in and see if you got one. So they have them at 11.5 first half fantasy points. And it's kind of hit or miss. But this being such a bad defensive game, I'd be somewhat interested. I just wanted to make... I don't know. I thought I was on to something. Lukewarm on the thesis. I like Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale. I haven't really been mobile gaming seems harder than anything to me. I like Fox here. Curry destroyed DSJ, and so did Brunson. Yeah, I think De'Aaron Fox is... I'm going to be all over this game, but Fox, Murray, Sabonis at the front end for me if I'm chasing ceiling. Like Nick Richards for value. I have 20 minutes, a little over a point per minute. I wouldn't push back on that. First night I was going to play Ben Simmons. He gets downgraded to questionable. Yeah, I don't see him playing in Philly. Not a chance. Not a chance. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Charlotte Hornets, the Brooklyn Nets hosting the Indiana Pacers. Project starting 5 for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Aaron Nesmith, Jalen Smith, Miles Turner taking on Kyrie Irving, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Benjamin Simmons, possibly, maybe not, I don't know, and then Nick Claxton. So we'll add Ben Simmons here to the Q area, and then we'll get to the bottom of maybe not the bottom, but he was downgraded to questionable about 10-15 minutes before I went live. And I think it was a knee designation. Yeah, left knee. So usually midday downgrades, I tend to lead more to them being out. Let's see if I can get an official blurb. Ben Simmons. Yeah, it's just knee soreness is from what I'm seeing. So midday Q, we might expect him to be out. And then we know Seth Curry may not play as well. I think that leaves us, without a doubt, looking at Kyrie and KD a little bit more. And then put in a little context to the Nets offense so far. And this is a home and home, I guess, back-to-back for them against the Pacers. Gun, who do you like tonight in Phillies versus Astros? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Who do I like? Who do I think will win? Or who do I want to win? Alright, just out of curiosity. A little bit of sample size. With Kyrie and Ben Simmons on the court since the beginning of last year, but we know Simmons only played this year. Kyrie's assist rate is 16%. Ben Simmons is at 30%. We take Ben Simmons off the court. And I guess also Harden, right? I should have got some water. Kyrie's assist rate goes to 24%, which is highest on the team. 28% usage, 1.2 fantasy point per minute. So picks up 10% steam essentially on his assist rate. Do we have an assist prop for Kyrie since this Ben Simmons news came out? 5. Indubitably, Kyrie Irving assist by game log. Let's go last. Assist without Ben Simmons last 15 games. 5, 9, 6, 12. It's all over the road, but it does break that 5 quite a bit. So if Ben Simmons is out, because of the Pacers being who they are, because of their defense being what there is, I might be a little bit interested in the Kyrie assist prop from this far out. And then, yeah, Kyrie and Kevin Durant would be the two for me. I don't know that I typically will stagger Kyrie and KD, assuming that one ceiling comes at the expense of the other ceiling. But man, are the Pacers just like that glorious of a matchup. So I may not force it today, but I may put these two in a group together and maybe knock off a couple percent on the correlation on the Fantasy Cruncher, if you guys know how to do that. Pacers are coming in as the 4th worst defensive efficiency. The Nets coming in as the 1st worst. And Ben Simmons known a little bit more for defense than not. I guess you could say statistically there's a chance their defense gets worse without Ben, right? And then pace-wise, the Pacers are top 10 in pace. Nets are further behind, but man, the extra implied possessions versus an average game, and then the horrendous defense projected here is a really, really fun spot to attack. And Tyrese Halliburton price is still not where it should be on either site, and he's coming off a game against these Nets where he made me a nice chunk of change on Saturday. 53 fantasy points, 8 assists. He actually hit the under. I think his line was 8.5, 9 at some spots. But I'm willing to go right back to the well on everything for him. And I think he's way too cheap still. He should probably be 9,500 in this spot. And this is too good. I'll take any of his last 5 really any game he's done this season at this price. It doesn't kill me. So on DraftKings, love me some Tyrese Halliburton. Probably going to be yet again a tier 1 option for me. Jalen Smith and Miles Turner. So Miles Turner did not play that last game. So that is a little bit of a wrinkle versus chasing points, if you will. But I think that's fine. That's probably a better assist partner for a guy like Halliburton. Throw some lobs too. And then Jalen Smith, we know his fantasy points per minute really, really solid. So I'm willing to go back to the well. In that last game, Isaiah Jackson had a spike game as a starter in lieu of Miles Turner. So Turner can slide in here and kind of pick up some of that slack. And Turner's somebody that we have already seen play over 30 minutes and drop a massive game. So I don't think it's something I'm too scared of. I do think we got to remember that Miles Turner, a lot of his upside comes from his block game. 5 blocks against Washington. Sometimes blocks turn into fouls when you're up against guys like Kevin Durant. But with that said, I think he's real too cheap. I would probably play 6,500 for him on DK, and he's only 5,500. So I feel like we're getting a really solid deal. Nesmith being questionable, TJ McConnell being questionable, Daniel Tice being out. If Nesmith didn't play, we could see an elongated opportunity again for Benedict Mathurin, who had a really solid game against the Nets in that last outing. 43 fantasy points, 30 real points, shot 6 for 9 from 3. I want to say he started the second half, but don't quote me. Let me pull that up. Yeah, he started the second half, played all of the second quarter, and was just a bucket. So that did correlate with not only Nesmith being out, TJ McConnell being out, and also Miles Turner being out. So maybe not 1-to-1 on the results, but certainly somebody that I like to have fun with and chasing point props on PrizePicks. This guy's averaging 21 real points per game, so perhaps he can keep this up if Nesmith is out, and it at least implies some more minutes for Mathurin, and then maybe a second half prop, or even, I don't think they do second quarter props over there, but just a name to keep in the pool. So for jotting down names, give me Kyrie, give me KD, give me Halliburton, Miles Turner, and then as we start spinning the wheel a little bit more for tournaments, Buddy Hield should be in the pool, Jalen Smith should be in the pool, Nick Claxton should be in the pool. He had a solid outing in that last one, and then if Ben Simmons is out, I do think that could mean more minutes for Claxton as they size up and stretch out a little bit differently, right? And if Curry is down, I guess you can make cases for Joe Harris, but that's an extremely scoring dependent click. I feel like I don't want to get that volatile. And yeah, so there's a lot to like here. I'll probably have at least 3 Nets in the pool, and then probably 4 Pacers in the pool when it's all said and done, if for my 20 max, you know. All right, yeah. If Turner's in and Simmons is out, it'll be a really different game than 2 days ago. I agree with that. I was interested in Claxton, but FanDuel made him center only, so now I'm off him mostly. But 22 minutes, he put up 27. So, like, is there any, what are you loving at center that you couldn't put at power forward other than Claxton? You know what I mean? Because I don't think center only is a bad thing. As far as this slate goes, like if you're into Siakam, well, guess what? You could put him at power forward. If you're into Sabonis, you can put him at power forward. If you're into Porzingis, you know what I mean? Collins power forward, Miles Turner power forward, Kelly Olynyk. So it does, I don't know. Jalen Smith. I don't think you're it's that locked out, at least in my opinion, unless you love power forwards that aren't listed as center. Seth Curry just got rolled out? Okay. Did that just happen, or did I not update the... I didn't even update. That's what it was. Okay, so then, yeah, with Curry out, it would probably just mean more shooting opportunity for Kyrie. I think it's a biggest boost to a guy like Joe Harris off the bench. And I wonder, how do we fill these Ben Simmons minutes if that becomes an out? I think that more than likely it would just be let Kyrie facilitate, right? Ben Simmons does a lot of the point guard duties. KD at the 4, Claxton at the 5, and then fill in the middle with Royce O'Neal. We've seen Royce O'Neal stretch out too in Utah, and then just put one of these You might even see a Joe Harris start. Watanabe maybe. Markieff. Patty Mills has started. I think it's one of these loose shooting guards. So let me take Curry out the mix here, and let's put him as out. All right, cool. Halliburton or Fox? Why not both? Who do you think will win? It's supposed to be pouring rain tonight in Philly, so should be a couple of delays. Will they hold out? I don't know. I'm rooting for Philadelphia, so I'm just gonna not shake up the karma. If I thought it was bad luck, I would be all in on the Astros, but I don't think I am. All right, let's move on to the next game. Hawks at the Raptors. Project 75 for the Hawks. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella taking on Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, 2-2-2, and another one, too, is our total 3-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. Decent total, not a massive one, but a decent total to attack. Trae Young on both sides, right around that 10K area. He has been just crushing it, and you're looking for 50 fantasy points on a slate like this from that price point, and that's what he's been offering: 58, 59, 50, essentially in every game so far. So you like to see that consistency. You like to see him averaging over 30 real points per game, and he's a sharpshooter. So he'll be in the pool. I'm going to start him off as a tier 3 exposure-wise because I do have aspirations to get to an aggressive level of like Tyrese Halliburton, probably a guy like De'Aaron Fox, and that's just going to push Trae Young down a little bit, but I'm not going to be without him. I do think this is a pace down spot negatively at 95.3 possessions per game for the Raptors so far, and then typically I expect better of the Raptors defense, so a couple check boxes being less enthralling, but I can't be without Trae Young just because he means so much to the Hawks. Fred VanVleet being questionable. Let's see what the report on that is. Toronto. Lower back stiffness. He was 0 from 11 from the field on Friday, so it's possible this back injury was the culprit. He's already among the league leaders in playing time at 37.9 minutes per game, so the occasional night off wouldn't be the worst thing if it helps him avoid DNPs. He's missed an average of 17 games over the past 5 seasons, excluding his rookie year. So check out that as we get closer to lock. If he's unable to play, it could mean a lot of things. We've seen them start Malachi Flint, Banton in the past. We've seen Siakam be a great facilitator so far, so you might see even more of that. Gary Trent Jr. is a guard that obviously can handle the ball a little bit, and then there's a few different outcomes for them should VanVleet be unable to go. I wasn't really going to be that enthralled with playing VanVleet anyway because of what else is on the board, but it would make some of these other guys more interesting. Raptors are still favored by 3 here. Scotty Barnes is intriguing to me, and then Siakam on both sides. I can see him falling through the cracks yet again because of so far what's kind of emerged in the guard area, which would create less money for the center and forwards. And heck, we've already mentioned Miles Turner's probably a little too cheap on DraftKings. So a guy like Siakam, who we've already watched drop big time slate impact games, 47, 48, 49, 50, 72. You sunk my battleship, right? He's just getting it done. So if he does fall through the cracks here, it could make a unique lineup construction if you build reverse from the field. And I think if we were to do that, Siakam at center is probably the way I want to go. So I don't mind that. I'm getting about a 50 fantasy point projection as it is. Not getting a staggering number for anyone else on the squad here, but without VanVleet, that would be likely to adjust somewhat. Looking at last year, we'll do two checks. One, just generally speaking, Siakam 1.17 DraftKings points per minute. VanVleet a little bit over 1. VanVleet also has a 27% assist rate overall since the beginning of last year. So we'll do Siakam and VanVleet on since the beginning of last year. Van Vliet's assist rate 25%, Siakam 21%, usage 22%, 25.8. So we'll take Van Vliet and we'll take him off the court. This pushes Siakam to 1.2 fantasy points per minute. Really the only Raptor that with substantial minutes other than Boucher over a full fantasy point per minute, pushes his usage almost to 30%, pushes his assist rate to 27%. Do we have lines on Siakam? I think it's assist line or catching up to him. And not even listed. Rebounds and assists is a line that you can get behind. That's an interesting one. Let me see something. Pascal Siakam assists by game log without Fred VanVleet last 30 games. Because we might be able to imply him for like 8 and 8, right? 8 and 8, just straight up, and that would bust out 16. That's a weird, like, just a weird prop. But Siakam without VanVleet, I don't think that's netting what I think it is. Yeah, it's including. Oh, it is. 7, 7, 7, 12, 5, 7. So we're seeing a decent amount of assists. So I'd be somewhat intrigued with if I thought that I had a hunch that VanVleet wouldn't play, and I wanted to get an action on that. Maybe that's the number I want to get. But also, if they give us a low enough fantasy line, I'm with it. What was my soft projection on VanVleet, or excuse me, Siakam? I had him at 5.7, but that's implying VanVleet in. Okay, something to watch. What up, Bob? Bob had a baby, eats a boy. What up, Kickstart? Young C, Maxi 20 real points with no Embiid. Yeah. Is that the line, or is that like one of your alt line parlay boosters? Let me see what they got for here. Also, we should be careful about saying no Embiid. It's not. He's midday questionable, and yes, midday questionable. I lean towards the worst, but it was more just a missed shoot around thing, which is also a sign of not playing. But we've seen Doc Rivers and Ben and Joel Embiid kind of troll us. So I had the line at 21.5 on PrizePicks. And I think that's fair. And we discussed that he was in big foul trouble first half last game. Your average maxi game right now is going to look like 40 minutes. So implying for, half a point per minute at that line. So I would say yes, that would be my lean. And I don't even necessarily think Embiid is a net negative for him to hit that. So yeah. It's an alt boost? Okay. Is it a boost? Like you're getting plus money on 20 when it's 21.5 on PrizePicks? I would imagine it's let's see. Maxi 21.5 on Underdog as well. I'd imagine that's linear to the sports books. Yeah, no. Gary Trent 40 bond tonight? Maybe. I'm at 30, but if the Hawks get hot, Gary Trent gonna have to fire back, shoot some threes, and if VanVleet doesn't play, and we like Siakam to facilitate even more, would possibly make Gary Trent emerge as a shooter. I drafted so much late round Primo, and oh no, dude, that Primo situation, bro. Oh, it sucks, man. It sucks to see talented people throw their lives away. I don't know the full details, so I'll relax on that. But like you guys saw the report, looked like Deshaun Watson stuff. It's not plus money. Okay, 40 real points, my guy. You like that? All right, Bob. Are you Gary Trent's burner? If so, I'm here for this. Just blink twice. We'll go all in. Let's move on to the Pistons at Bucks. It's an 8 p.m. game. Projects 35 for the Pistons. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Isaiah Stewart, taking on Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. 224 is our total. And a 13-point spread in favor of the home team, Milwaukee Bucks. So we have our is Giannis worth playing in a blowout question of the day. If you look at the Houston game, that was one of those lopsided 20-point games where he only got 28 minutes. And this has always been my pushback, where Giannis could still get you 60, 70 in the blowouts because he's usually a catalyst of the blowouts. I think that's the Giannis train pulling up right now. So if you think 60, let's say 64 fantasy points is enough raw points on a 7-game slate to get you there, and I think it's possible to get some builds that feature Giannis tonight and still win tournaments. I'm getting a 65 fantasy point projection on FanDuel, 62 on DK. I'm pretty sure that's going to lead the slate in projections. It does. And the next man up would be like KD after that. Now, the KD projection might alter. The Kyrie projection might alter. And we know that their standard deviation, considering ceiling and matchup today, could push them over 60. But the median projection would likely look like Giannis Antetokounmpo being 10 fantasy points above the next highest, which would mean I don't want to be without him, even in an implied blowout. So, I say all that to say this: no Middleton. I'm in on Giannis at home, even if it's just 28 minutes. I think his per min this season for fantasy is like 1.7 or something absolutely ridiculous. Let me pull it up. I think they'll let Scotty Barnes beat about. I think Scotty Barnes started as a point guard last year in a couple games. So I don't disagree with that. I do think that they have several different ranges of outcomes as far as what that lineup could look like, though. Let me just look at this. KD on FanDuel tonight is a lock. I think KD and Kyrie both have real big chances, especially with Ben Simmons out. But the fact that Ben Simmons is out makes me a little bit more lean to the Kyrie side, but both are going to be really much in my player pool. I don't know that I'm going to... So, like, one of the things I was thinking about was if I run 20 lineups, 10 Kyrie, 10 KD, with no overlap, or if I let a little bit of overlap. So, like, I don't know, 6 Kyrie only, 6 KD only, and then plus, like, 2 or 3 more with them both. I think that's fine, too. Just unique thoughts on how to approach it. This season, Giannis, 1.84 DraftKings points per minute. My man is almost 2 fantasy points per minute. So, blowout be darned if he gets 28 to 30 minutes. That implies us for almost 60. So, yeah. I'm trying to get different in the $66 53 max on FanDuel. What's some of your favorite tournament plays for Halloween? Tournament plays. So, I mean, a contest like that. So wait, 53 max? I don't know. For FanDuel, so far what's sticking out to me is the Nets and Pacers game. So I'd probably want to start with deciding what I want from that game. For me, I would probably lean Halliburton, Miles Turner. And I think there's a world where KD and Kyrie can coexist tonight and serve a purpose. My usual lean is to grab one and think their ceiling impacts the other. But I think the defensive efficiency in this game could be so bad that it may not matter. We could just get 50 out of both Kyrie and KD, and then I think that's still live. And it all correlates well, Yeah, Bob. See, Bob? You see, Bob? We're on the same page. All right, so I'll take a little bit of Giannis. Drew Holiday coming off a big game, too. That's a guy I'd be more inclined to be pessimistic about that at that price point in a game that may not be competitive. But Drew Holiday's coming off a massive 66 fantasy point game against Atlanta. 4 steals and a block, so 5 stocks. That was 15 points on FanDuel alone. Double-digit assists, 30-plus real points, and a closer game. That game was down to the wire. Today may not be that game. I would still have him like tier 3, tertiary, especially in 150, something like that. But Giannis is the forefront for me. On the Pistons side, Cade Cunningham, there was that one game where Ivy sat with an illness and Cunningham popped off, and then Ivy came back and Cunningham's just kind of still chilling on the pop-off spectrum. Atlanta, back-to-back games flirting with a triple-double, and then Golden State as well. So maybe he's clocked in and he's coasting in the right direction. If you want to play a little bit contrarian, maybe we give the Pistons a little bit of credit, keep this game competitive. Looking at our team metrics chart so far, net rating for the Detroit Pistons is really, really bad. They have the worst net rating in all of basketball, and Milwaukee is the third best. So I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But if you do, it would probably have to be on the back of a guy like Cade Cunningham. So does that give him some merit in deep field tournaments? I think so. Cheap enough on both sides, filling up the stat sheet, sure. I don't think I get to him in 20 or less, but I certainly understand it in mass filled entry. And then other guys that would have to compete to stay competitive. That's a sentence. Bojan Bogdanovic, he just got an extension, I believe. 6K, 5,700. Guys are going to chuck the three. Bojan kind of fits that role for me. As long, lanky guys that you probably want out there on the court. Just keep your hands to yourself. 6, 12, 7, 10 shot attempts from behind the arc. 20 plus real points in 4 straight games. Under 6K on DK. If I'm trying to paint a scenario where the Pistons stay competitive, I think Bojan has to probably contribute 9 to 9 to 18 points, maybe all from the 3-point line, and then a couple from elsewhere. Last year the Bucks were one of the leakiest teams at points allowed via the 3 ball. So far this season, that number's looking better, top 5, but they've also been in more competitive games, and I always bring this up. I think it is a little bit of points in the paint defense with Giannis, and then also Middleton's a lanky guy, and then it's also something that could be scoreboard impacted, where teams play from such a couple possessions down where they got to chuck more threes. And the Bucks have been a little bit more competitive games this year, so I think that number will fall backwards a little bit too. But just trying to game script how this game would stay close would probably be Cunningham having a good game, Bojan having a solid game, especially from downtown, and same with like guys like Jaden Ivey. Yeah, but I'm light on this game in short field. Detroit prime for 3 letdown after last game, probably. Milwaukee's also undefeated, right? And you always expect an undefeated team to lose to a team you don't expect to, and this would be that guy, pal. Memphis at the Utah Jazz, 9 p.m. game. Project the starting 5 for Memphis: Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Santi Aldama, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. Gonna give you one board. What? Taking on Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Markin, and Jared Vanderbilt. Kelly Olynyk. 229 is our total. 229.5, with a 2.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis has a laundry list. I guess both teams do, but Memphis does too. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. I don't. That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. Ja Morant has a questionable tag on him. Non-COVID illness. He did not play in Saturday's game against the Jazz, which meant a move into the starting lineup for Tyus Jones. Jones, who would remain in the starting lineup if Morant cannot play on Monday, is a solid fantasy option in this scenario. That's a blurb from NBC Sports Edge. Desmond Bane listed as questionable with right ankle soreness. If he can't go, that would make things even more tricky. If Ja can and he can't, then we play with that as well. Dylan Brooks will take as many shots as physically possible if Bane can't go, and John Concher will likely absorb a bulk of Bane's minutes. So also a blurb from NBC Sports Edge. So certainly something to watch for. Looks like some late swap opportunities, and then we know Jaren Jackson, Green, Zaire Williams all out as well. So this is not insignificant news. This is going to probably matter, and if you are the type to take advantage of late swap and don't have to worry about trick-or-treaters tonight, well, maybe there's some edge to be had in this game and when those decisions come out to make some moves. Should it play straight up? I think everyone's efficiently priced. Morant, Bane, Brooks. If we lose Morant, like we saw last game, I'm going to like Tyus Jones. Not quite as free of a square as last game, but I can still push that projection close to 30 and look at Bane and Brooks. And then also remember, I believe that game went to overtime on Saturday. So maybe we take a little bit off the top in terms of expectation. No, it didn't go to overtime. It went down to the wire. Some game with overtime Saturday that helped me out a little bit. Bane played 34 minutes in that game. Dylan Brooks played 29, so still concerning about how many minutes Brooks can actually play. Looking for him to get over that 30 threshold since this season, since he's come back this season. And then Tyus Jones for 32 minutes. So if there's a scenario where where Ja Morant and Desmond Bane don't play, and that's going to give us Tyus Jones, probably Dylan Brooks, probably John Concher in the starting lineup, things will get really, really weird. And with Memphis right now being 2.5-point favorites, not the tinfoil hat Vegas knows stuff, but just makes you wonder if Ja's closer to being good, you know. Mark, I appreciate the sub, man. Welcome to the channel. So lots to do, lots to think about, lots of if this and that. I'd probably still have some action on Brooks no matter what, but if that news didn't come out, what are we dealing with? A 1 hour gap between the blowout game and then the pivot spot is an hour and a half after this game. And we'll at that price point, maybe we can 2v2 into some, I don't know, some Reggie Jackson if you wanted to. A couple of Rockets. It'll probably cost you a 2v2. So this will be the annoying game of the night when it comes to news. You know. T McDuff, I appreciate that sub as well. Ja ate some bad food apparently. Well, then he should be alright. Got in a fist fight with my dad when he said Rip Hamilton was not that good. Kicked me out of the house at 19. That's how I became a man. Bro, what? Yo, Bob, what? That's crazy. Who do you like better, Durant or Kyrie? Nate, my lean is Kyrie, but I like them both. My lean is Kyrie with the assumption that Ben Simmons doesn't play, because then I would put the ball in Kyrie's hands a little bit more. I think he can facilitate, but I also think if Kyrie's got the ball in his hands, he's looking at that net a lot too, you know? And with Seth Curry being down. He pushed his dad. Oh, yeah. I guess I would do the same. I don't know my dad, but if he walked in this house and said something about Derek Jeter or Aaron Judge, he'd probably get them hands. NGL. Lopez is day-to-day with a smaller Detroit, may be a better option if he goes. I missed that, Bilal. Did I miss that? No, I didn't miss that. I do have that. So, hey, if Lopez doesn't go, that opens up Bobby Portis quite a bit. Even at a blow. So, has Milwaukee been in a blowout where they called Portis' number and not like Thanasis? What's like the lopsidedest spread? The Rockets game, maybe? A little bit. But if Lopez can't go, that's stupid. I'd be really interested in Bobby Portis. I'm still already playing Bobby Portis at this projection, at this price, but it would make me feel better. Well, that's a good catch. What up, Tizzle? Yeah. How late am I? About an hour. What up, Shark? He's 5'7" and built like a female. God dang, Bob, you going in on your pops in chat, man. You want to talk about it? Golly, what up, Carlos? Lopez is probably. Oh, okay. Spoken at one Christmas party. Yo, Bob, you're tripping. You're tripping. Oh, I need some water. Bob, you remind me like of one of those fake coach Twitter accounts right now. I had my best pitcher switch jerseys all 3 games of the finals. He threw 238 of the nastiest pitches you ever seen. Main event tonight. Wow, we're done. Jesus H. I didn't think they would finish this fast. Giggity. Let's do a drop. Shout out to PrizePicks, presenting sponsor. If you guys looking to supplement your DFS action, PrizePicks.com. Sign up using code GUNDACKER. They show me some love when you sign up using my code. Basically tells them, hey, Gun, vouch for you. And they'll be like, all right, lit. And then they say, hey, whatever you deposit will double up to $100. So sign up, man. Throw a 20 bomb at them, a dove, 50 bomb at them. And they'll make it $100 instantly. Or excuse me, they'll turn that 50 into 100 in your account. It's instant. There's no slow drip. None of that play through this 8 times. Cashed out via crypto. But you have to buy an NFT bull crap. Just get in the game. My favorite thing about PrizePicks is that they offer fantasy points as a prop on the NBA side of things, and it's linear to the scoring of FanDuel. So I didn't have to build out any extra models or anything like that. I could just look at my PrizePicks or my FanDuel projections, look at theirs, and push the over or under, the more or less. So check them out. There's a link in the description. No, there's not. I'll put a link in chat. You guys get signed up, and then if you're in the free Discord, if I'm playing, I post what I'm gonna run. Some slates I don't force it, right? There was a small slate over the weekend where I didn't force it, but tonight I'll probably have a couple that I throw out there. So check it out. Yo, why I didn't realize how low I was on the camera. Need a producer. What up, Aunt Maurice? By the way, we have a similar deal like that set up with Underdog. So if you're already on PrizePicks and you're looking for something to also kind of supplement, Underdog offers a little bit different taste. Sometimes the lines are different. Sometimes they're the same but different. And then sometimes they offer lines that the other site doesn't, and vice versa. So I would highly recommend having an account on both, and then looking for the best opportunities to crank up on. You can up to 20x, I think, on the when you turn insurance off, you can 20x your entry. When you turn it on, it flexes it. So PrizePicks, you can only get up to 10x. So both sites have positives. I don't know if this is a promo. Does anybody else see this? Limited time. You've got a free 4-pick entry. Select 4 picks for the auto apply to your entry. So maybe if that is for everyone, I'll try and post one in the PrizePicks and we could sweat it as a familia. But I don't know. It may just be like an airdrop promo. So if you guys see it, then yeah. But hey, there's a link in the description below for the free Discord right here. Gundacker Gaming. Get up in there. Shout out to everyone that has jumped in there lately. Daddy Dale, Luis Martin, The Flow, Markel, Zabri, Brock. We have a members section. Usually I'll post my in baseball we did the bomb detector. For basketball I'll post my picks here and stuff like that. I am looking for some like Discord moderators to kind of throw a splash in it. And kind of, help me organize that. So if you are privy to the cord of disc, hit me up. And then, yeah, that Jordan Klein cam. Yeah. No, Jordan would never let me look like the neighbor from Home Improvement right now. Also shaved, so I kind of feel, self-conscious. So maybe this is just better. I don't know. It's just better. I miss my beard already. I'm cold. Is it bad to fade Giannis today? Kiefer, I don't think it's bad because of the alternatives here. We're gonna talk about Paul George here in a minute. But we got the KD, Kyrie potentially without Ben Simmons. Run it back there with Halliburton, Miles Turner. So the balance build is going to be pretty strong in my opinion. But if Giannis drops 70, there's probably a good chance that hits the optimal if that's 10, 15 points above the next guy, which is possible. But I have a lot of excitement about the upside of that Pacers and Nets game, If we don't get the Ja and Van Vliet news before the first 2 games, I'm fading the first 2 games. Bet. Makes you feel. It does kickstart. I didn't even have to say. I don't know why I did it. I was just like, you know what? Oh, you know what it was on Friday night? I was gaming, right? I'm locked in. I made a pizza, and I bring the pizza over here, and I grab a slice, and I'm focused here. I grab a slice, and it like picks up half my beard. And I like take a bite out of my beard, basically. And I was like, maybe it's time. So I had every intention just to trim it, but I'm the worst. So I don't know. I just had it so you know what? F it. We'll just start over. No shave November. We'll just restart it. See what it's looking like in a couple weeks. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I shave and then get a haircut, I just look like Uncle Fester. So yeah. What's an airdrop promo? So sometimes they do airdrop like money splashes into random accounts, stuff like that. What up, Tall? Whatever happened to Josh? So me and Josh parted ways. Don't want to talk about it, but I do believe he has his own YouTube channel. I forget what it's called though. If somebody knows it, you can put it in chat. I don't mind. What up, Hollis? That's a hilarious story. Which one? The pizza? Sometimes stuff happens in life to just let you know it's time. I used to do security for the NFL when I was like 18, 19, NFL and colleges like SMU, UNT, stuff like that. One time I was doing security for SMU, I believe, and I used to have long hair, bro, long hair. And it would be hot, Texas summer, you know what I'm saying, 100, 110 degrees, and you have to wear a hat as part of the uniform. So I put on the hat and my hair would just stick out. And some girl came up to me, 10 o'clock, from behind, and she said, ma'am, can you tell me which way to the... And I turned around, and like I knew that she knew that, oh crap. And that next day, 10 o'clock in the morning, haircut, bro. It's all gone. Haven't had long hair since. That's when you knew. So when you're eating half of your beard, that's when you know it's time. It's time. It's also time to talk about the main event. Houston Rockets at the LA Clippers. Projected starting 5 for the Rockets. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun, taking out Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Paul George, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. We got a 224 total, 9.5 point spread in favor of the home team, LA Clippers. Rocco questionable, John Wall questionable, Kawhi Leonard out, and on the Rocket side, Gordon was questionable, and I think he's closer to out. So let me get the info that I can get, and we'll go from there. Waiting for your show with Noah. I do need to reach out with Noah. Should I just tweet him right now on the air? What if I'll tweet him on the air, and everyone just juice the tweet up. Pepperoni, if you, god dang it. Oh, that's funny. Pulling up the Houston Rockets news. When it comes to the case of Eric Gordon, he has a right groin injury, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then on the Clipper side, sorry, my phone's blowing up. John Wall, questionable. Says he doesn't expect to be available for Monday's game against the Rockets, so I guess it's closer to doubtful. And then we know Kawhi's out. And then Rocco has a tag, and he's listed as health and safety protocols, so he's probably out as well. All right, cool. Clippers are still pretty sizable favorites here. Anyone with Coach talk? Yeah, I hit up Coach a couple weeks ago. Told him we can work on some collabs here. I think he does live streams later in the day though, so I could probably get him on here. I would like to return the favor, but I don't know if I can do the pre-lock stuff. What's up with Raj? Oh my God. So Raj lives in Ontario, and towards the end of last year, some of you guys might have heard this. Ontario like legalized sports betting, but then DFS didn't fall within the licenses or whatever. So right now DFS is technically illegal in Ontario, so he can't play. So it's kind of hard to have someone on here that can't play. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on with that. But Raj wants to jump on, so I might have him on as a guest. And then Chronic has told me that he might be able to work something out where he can start swinging by on Fridays. So we'll get it together. I'm trying to build a team. I put out a couple feelers, and I've also looking for younger content creators that maybe want to nudge. Tweet him, get him on. He's knowledgeable. All right, we'll do this. Let's tweet it, and then we'll analyze that game with some picks, right? And then if you're on Twitter, you come juice it up. Let me just make sure there's no updates. Dude, we got so much time right now that hopefully you guys are not like mad that we're not doing anything. I did not expect to be done so fast. Yo, Noah. The chat wants us to collab soon. And then there you go, chat. Go jazz this tweet up, reply to it, and maybe we'll make something happen. So with the news that we have, Paul George is going to look like a really good play and perhaps the lock of the century on FanDuel.com at $8,200, coming in at a 50 plus fantasy point projection on FanDuel. That's just guard forward eligible. Easily going to be my highest owned player. More than likely one of the highest owned players on the entire site. So I can't push back on that. Reggie Jackson becomes interesting on both sides. Zubac, I'm fine with getting to almost 7K, looking for 40 plus. But on smaller slate, we've talked about center kind of at a bare min here. We might lose Embiid. I don't want to play PJ Tucker. Miles Turner's like emerging as probably my favorite center. Maybe Nick Claxton. So yeah, give me some Zubac. I think on a 7-game slate, we're going to want ceiling in some spots. We might be able to take a floor game or a medium floor game from a couple guys, and like a almost 7K guy like Zubac is one of them. Şengün on the other side is intriguing, getting a 30-point projection. Both sides, the price points are fine. KPJ and Jalen Green, both guys I'm interested in. I'm not shocked at the spread here, but I don't know. I didn't think it would be this close to double digits with what we know about who's out for the Clippers. So I kind of have a little bit more faith on KPJ and Jalen Green to keep it together. So I like this game. A little bit of late stack, hour and a half after the Jazz game. So perhaps the second half of this game is completely uncontested. And as that game goes, so do you or not, depending on your exposure, you know? Dude, you're a favorite guy in the Awesome shows? I appreciate that. We did a stochastic show on Saturday. Me and E-Mac. I think I have one this week. I have to double check. I want to say Friday, but I haven't. Don't get me lying. At least for the main one. We always do the No House Advantage content. Zubac, Shakur, Şengün starting now. I don't know. With Fernando out, maybe they could throw Garuba back in the mix. That has just been a carousel of why isn't it Şengün when it's not Şengün. They have Jayshawn Tate. There's a couple. I'm sure I'll have to doctor this later on, but I don't know for sure. Let's make a mock FanDuel draw up here on guys that I like. So I really like Halliburton. Paul George is unavoidable. I'm going to run it back with Kyrie. Can we get Miles Turner in the mix? He's almost 7K. I still think it's not out of the question, but that's interesting. Gives me 53 per. Kyrie at Tyrese. I kind of think it's not a bad thing to have KD and Kyrie tonight, but 10K is 10K. Let me see what's popping as a potential value today. Your old pal EMAC, future president EMAC. I love EMAC. Although sometimes I'm scared when me and EMAC get to talking. We get so far off the rails. Norman Powell. You guys ready for Norman Powell without all these guys? It worked out for us last game. Small forward. Looking for... I'd take the last 2 games. One of them got bailed out with overtime. I'd take the last game. It would be begrudgingly, but I would take it. Reggie's up there. Keegan Murray at 5'5". So we have enough to get those type of guys in here. So we put Keegan here. Reggie, if we wanted to wedge him in there based on the projection, we'd have to move Paul George to small forward. No problem. And then we'd have to move Tyrese to shooting guard, which is the beauty of multi-position eligibility. George, Turner, and then we'll go Keegan. Oh, Keegan's already in there at the small forward spot. 6K. Do we have a cheaper small forward in this? Sexton, Royce, no. Harrison Barnes, maybe. Aldama, maybe. A couple ways to go. I probably want to move Turner to maybe like the center spot. Actually, I like Claxton quite a bit too, though. So we'll put Claxton here. We'll keep Turner at the power forward spot. He was a 61 power forward. Kelly Olynyk has been great. Bojan, if you think that's the guy, to keep it close. But in that case, this lineup's not scripted for closeness. Kelly Olynyk coming off a monster game. 5 stocks. Same matchup. Boom. $0 left. How about that? Reggie, Kyrie, Halliburton, Powell, Keegan Murray against Charlotte, Paul George, Turner, Olynyk, Claxton. All of them make sense. I probably want a little bit more of that Charlotte-Sacramento game, but names that have been stirred up here. So I'm going to work on my player pool as we get closer to lock. If you guys want to get access to it, it's behind the paywall over at rundfs.com. Go to rundfs.com, click VIP memberships. Where we at? 150. Hey guys, you want to hit that thumbs up for me too? That'd be lit. Find a membership right for you. Oh, we forgot to take down the NBA season pass. All right, I got to do that tonight. So if you guys, yeah, we'll do it tonight since it's already up. I'm on the air. Tonight is the last night to get this one, the NBA season pass. That'll get you locked in until April 9th next year. Also comes with a $100 credit. And then the year pass for next year is up there as well. $150 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher. That's going to unlock spreadsheets for NBA, NFL, and baseball, which comes with my projections, the index portal, some research savvy tabs, and then what I'm running as far as a player pool, exposure, stuff like that. And then more importantly, if you don't do nothing else, so many people get VIP at rundfs.com and I never see them in the Discord. Get in the Discord. John Wall, Rocco ruled out. We have news alerts in here, and then I'm chilling right here in the voice chat up until lock. Every day except Sunday. Sunday after NFL, I usually like to vibe. That's my day off. But every other day, I'm here vibing with you guys if I'm not obligated on a stream somewhere else, you know? So make sure you're in the Discord, man. So many people join and don't get in the Discord. Anyway, I'm here for a little bit. If you guys got questions, comments, you just want to vibe out, I'm not in a rush. Maybe another 10 minutes if I had to. So if you guys got some thoughts, let me have them. Let me hear them. And we'll get on to the next one. For some, I feel like Boucher is going to have a solid night for his price point. Maybe Rui Hachimura again. All right. Dort beef stew. You like that? Yeah. So with Rocco out, what does that do for us front court wise? Does that make us a little bit stronger on Zubac? Or is there some secret? I guess it would Batum. Marcus Morris is back too. Maybe Marcus Morris is a little bit sneaky. Moses Brown. This is all garbage time minutes. So who would get some meaningful minutes to fill in for Rocco? I remember Rocco is a kind of a scrappy defender guy too. So, Rocco didn't play that last game, and it meant 27 minutes for Marcus Morris, and Nick Batum got 15. I guess we would just run that back. Only 23 minutes of Zubac. Didn't close out that game though. Alright, so maybe not something we can overreact to. The Discord was lit. Yeah, Discord is lit. I have to do a giveaway too soon. Zubac and Miles Turner. I think I'm gonna lean Miles Turner there, just for the minutes. What we got on the replies? We'll see. What do you think about Kevin Huerter? He dropped 27 the other day. Fellow Yankee fan Kevin Huerter. I have him for 31 minutes. I'm with that. I think that amount of points is probably going to a little bit more anomalic than not. But as a starter, if he's going to play these type of minutes, I'm here for it. He shot ridiculously efficient from behind the arc, 7 for 8. So just an extremely good shooting night. 8 of his 11 field goal attempts generally. It's not something we're running towards, right? He just happened to hit 21 points from 3-pointers. So that's probably a fluky game mathematically, but the 38 minutes looks nice. The 5,300 I can get behind, and the 7 assists were nice as well. So maybe that's a good call, because Charlotte's certainly a team I'm not running from. And let's do Huerter. Let's just look at Huerter generally this season. Just different numbers. Where you got DeJounte at? Probably in the mid 40s. Let me see. Control F, DeJounte. I have him at 42, 41. Low 40s. So Huerter, just under a fantasy point per minute this season. 18% usage rate, 19 or 17% assist rate. So cool. And this is also why it's a little tougher to expect Sabonis to be a 20-plus real point per game guy, because Huerter, because Murray, shooters on the court. So just to tie a knot of what we were talking about earlier, it does expand the potential assist stuff. How is their team assist numbers? Are they passing the rock quite a bit? Sacramento is 4th in assist rate, so they are passing. Hot potatoes. Maybe it becomes a little bit harder to call, but I don't mind that call. I think Huerter's making the pool. I don't know that I would have even really been that high on Huerter, so I appreciate you bringing that name up. It's a good one. Flynn worth the play if Van Vliet's out. Nate, I would really like to see Flynn in the starting lineup. It's possible he does, but it's also possible they do several other things. They could run Scotty Barnes more at the primary ball handler, get big a little bit. We've seen Siakam play a little bit more of facilitation roles, and we've seen Banton at times get some run. I would say Flynn is probably the most likely lineup that gets put out, but it's not a lock. So I would like to see the starting lineup to feel that confident, but yes, he would be worth a look if Van Vliet's out regardless, but especially if he's starting to make us feel better about his minutes. What do you think about Kevin Huerter? Okay, I got that. What do you got? Yep. Charlotte is the worst 3-point defense in the league. So that's good news for Huerter. Paul George on FanDuel just locked it. Yeah, Paul George should come preloaded when you open up FanDuel.com today. I don't know how that price happened. That's just unacceptable. Would you just look at this? Would you just look at this? Last 2 games, I guess, is how it's happened. But there's no way I can't. The floor to ceiling ratio on that, the late night hammer, just the matchup's pristine. Just can't. Just gotta. And then since the beginning of last year, Paul George without Kawhi. All right, guys, we just got the reply. We just got the reply. You guys wanted it. There it is. The big Noah. You guys wanted it. He replied, wherever it is. I don't know. There you go, Noah. All right, Noah. By popular demand, we're making it happen. We're making it happen. All right, so over 1.1, 106. Even if it's just like straight up 1 fantasy point per minute, it's just too good of an opportunity. And I don't know if I'm buying that 9.5 point spread, but we'll see. We'll see. Chat, you guys got anything else for me? If not, I'm gonna start getting ready for the pre-lock Discord chat. All I ask from you, hit that thumbs up. If you got anything else for me, twitter.com/Gundacker. Get in the free Discord. Link to that's in the description below. And what is this from Woj? The NBA and NBA Players Association are expected to revisit the rules that punish teams discovered to have had discussions with player agents on pending free agents. Oh, okay, it's just tampering. All right, boys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys making part of my day, be part of your day. Please tell somebody you love them. You just don't know. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless, and go win some money. Hit the tab. The 2022. What?